So when I was in the Netherlands, I knew that I wanted to study abroad, but that doesn't go to, I was very happy to be able to study in the Netherlands as well. Like
Mm,
Holland has great schools.
mm,
But the only issue with that was that because I wanted to pursue clinical psychology to some extent at that point, I couldn't pursue clinical psychology in the Netherlands because of a language barrier, because you
mm,
need to have known Dutch.
yeah.
And so it was essentially between US, UK, Canada for me. Canada kind of got ruled out. I think it's a great place, but Canada got ruled out just because my parents they thought that it's like too far away, which doesn't make a lot of sense given that the US is equally far away. But that I got vetoed on that, so
Yeah.
I didn't have much of a say in that. That left me with the US and the UK. US, I had friends who'd been to different colleges, and UK, I have a lot of family there, so I used to keep visiting. So I'd seen a bunch of campuses already. So for me, in terms of psychology, the starting point in choosing colleges was just looking up a list of colleges, looking up the most cliche like ratings list, be it topuniversities.com or something like that. Going through that list, seeing what universities I've heard about, what universities offer. A lot of research obviously went into the initial selection process for universities. Um, for me, the main research points included, and I think this is something that not a lot of pay attention to, not a lot of people pay attention to, but what psychology courses were offered specifically, and what specializations were offered in psychology.
Mm,
Because a lot of schools don't offer a lot of specializations in psychology, versus also like a Bachelor of Arts versus Bachelor of Sciences. Because I know, for instance, I think Berkeley does a Bachelor of Sciences in psychology, and versus UCLA does a Bachelor of Arts in psychology, which was one of the factors as well. Because given that I knew to some extent that I wanted to go into clinical psychology, even though I was still figuring my way out, I knew that I don't want to go into a cognitive science or a pre med route with psych, which is why a Bachelor of Science was not something that was tailored to me because that was more STEM oriented.
okay.
And so that was one of the factors. Yeah, it was just a lot of research, a lot of location finding. Because for me personally, and people don't believe me when I say this, but weather was a factor as well. Because I'd lived in the Netherlands, I had had enough of the rain and the gloom and the lack of sunlight,
Yeah.
and it just didn't sit well with me. So I was like, if I have the option to choose between two great schools, one of which has better weather, I'd probably go with the one with better
One
weather.
with better weather.
Yeah. But weather was a factor that played a role after decisions had come in. So